Hello, everybody watching. This is Adriana. I have Vincenzo Alaia here. He's a developer advocate ambassador for Algorand. And today he's gonna talk to us about making NFTs using Algorand. Over to you, Vince.
Thanks, Adriana. Yes, Adriana already said, my name is Vincenzo, and I'm a developer ambassador for Algorand. Before I start, I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodian of the land on which we met today and pay my respect to the elders past and present. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. The agenda for today will be, so I will explain a little bit what is an NFT and how NFT and blockchain, they work together. So how the NFT, they leverage the blockchain technology, and why we want to mint NFT on using Algorand. And finally, we will go through a demo where I show how to create your first NFT using the Algorand CLI Go command line. So what is an NFT? By definition, NFT is a unique and non-interchangeable representation of a physical and digital asset on the blockchain. As you and everyone already knows, NFT are quite a bit of the center of what is happening at the moment in the blockchain technology. And they, people that start using NFT to deliver provenance and originality of a piece of art, for example. And of course, they also benefit from the immutability and decentralization of the blockchain. They have a wide scope. They can be applied to artwork copyright, real estate, and also for digital identity representations. I want to link here a few use cases, and in particular, there is Darkroom, which is a digital art marketplace that is launching on the 1st of July using Algorand. And I also want to mention an article I wrote on how to use NFT, how to digitalize your property asset in the real estate industry and create a fractional ownership of your asset. So I'll really like you guys to have a look on these links. NFT and blockchain. So as we know, blockchain was meant to use for like more fungible assets like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency. And I think was the first NFT was in 2017 when NFT they come to market and people they start thinking how they can benefit of using NFT on the blockchain. And as I said, NFT can leverage the benefit of the blockchain, but they also there are some risk with the blockchain itself, because we need to consider every time we need to build an NFT, we need to consider to use a forkless blockchain. Before I will explain what is like a fork, I want to mention, until now we've been using internet to transfer information, and right now we can consider the blockchain as a layer that sits on top of the internet, and this layer allows us to transfer ownership. It can be money, contract, and assets. And so the problem with blockchain and the NFT is that every time, like when we start thinking to mint some new NFT, we need to consider to use a forkless blockchain, and this is the reason why we want to use Algorand to build our NFT. Algorand is a forkless blockchain, which means it never been forked, and it will never be. They will never fork the network. And what happens when a blockchain is forked is that it creates like a split of the network. So, for example, developers, they say they want to update the code because they found a bug or the network is not secure and it's not fast enough. And what can happen is we can have a soft fork where, for example, if you minted your asset at block 900 and the fork happened at block 1000, the soft fork means that from the block 1000 forward, there will be like a split. And in your case, you will have your NFT minted at block 900 on the first chain, and you will have a copy of your NFT on the second chain, which it doesn't make sense because the purpose of having an NFT is unique asset and the provenance that it doesn't need to be duplicated. And in the other case, there could be what can happen is an hard fork where, in that case, the old chain disappear, and so your NFT that you minted in the first chain is gonna be worthless. And that's why today we are talking about building NFT on Algorand. Algorand provide also an all-new brand pure proof of stake consensus protocol that ensure security, scalability, and decentralization. And as this article, I linked an article here where I actually explain how Algorand is a carbon negative network. And other property of the Algorand blockchain that we could consider are the fast transactions, the low transaction fee, and the ability to build smart contract and use atomic transfer on layer one. As we will see in a few minutes, building an NFT in Algorand, it will take a few seconds. And what you need to do is to build a transaction, and where we specify both the property of our asset that can be mutable and immutable. So let's see how we can create our NFT. So there are a few requirements before we start. If you'd like to use your laptop, I suggest to install and running a node. And yeah, there is like the documentation there how to install your node in your machine. That could be Mac or Linux. It's really simple. Just follow the documentation. And the other things that you will need is the Goal CLI tool. You could achieve the same result we are doing today with the Goal CLI using the SDK of Algorand. That I think at the moment the official one are Go, Python, JavaScript, and Java. Another thing I want to mention is a single Algorand account is allowed to create 1,000 assets maximum. If you need to create more than 1,000 assets, you can create another account, and when at the moment of creating an NFT, you can assign to the manager address or the reserve address your previous your previous address account. So in that case, you will keep a link between your two accounts, and Another thing is before a new asset can be transferred to a specific account, the receiver must opt in for that asset. Like I said before, the transaction when we create a transaction to create the NFT, we need to specify some asset parameter that are immutable and mutable. Immutable means that once they are set, they cannot be changed. And mutable means that the manager and the creator of the asset can update those values. So these are the immutable property. So we need to set during the creation of our NFT is the asset name, which is optional, but it's really recommended to use because it will you're actually giving a name of your asset. And this will identify the name of your asset. And these are the value is a string and can have maximum 32 byte, which means it can be 32 characters. Unit name is a symbolic abbreviation of your asset, and there's a limit of 8 byte. And it's also like a string value, and we can refer to this parameter as the AUD for Australian dollar. The decimals is a required property that we need to specify. This property basically will decide if the asset is divisible or not, which means, for example, in our instance, we want to mint an artwork, which it will not be divisible. So we will set the decimal to 0. In the case if we want the asset to be in tens, we should define this parameter at 0.S1, which means 0.1. Or 2, it would be like n hundreds for in hundreds units, and it will be 0.01, and so on. The total is another parameter that is required, and this flag represents the total amount of token, the total supply for the asset that we are creating. And so there is a rule for this. So for example, if we want to create an asset with 2 decimals and a total supply of 200 units, we need to follow the rule of the supply multiplied basically 2 times 10, because the D is decimal and we want 2 decimals, so it's 2 times 10, that gives us 20,000, and that's the number we're going to use in this parameter. The asset URL is optional and giving additional information to our asset. It can be, for example, in the case of an artwork, we could insert the URL of the artwork online, so people that buy this NFT, they can refer somehow to the artwork and they can see the piece of art. Finally, the creator, which is the public address of the asset creator account. This represents an immutable property that cannot be changed. And by default, if we don't specify the mutable address, the mutable asset parameter, which are the manager, the self, its address, and callback, by default they will take the creator address value. All right, so I think we can start playing with the demo. What do you think?
Go for it.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is, as I mentioned before, we're gonna use the goal asset create. So the goal is the CLI from Algorand, and yeah, you can play a bit with it. So for example, it gives you the few options, the account, app. You can create app with the goal as well. But today we're gonna focus on the asset. because we're going to create our first NFT. And as you can see, we're going to use this command line, where basically we are specifying all the parameters I mentioned before. So if go, and what we're going to do, I already have the command here just to help me out. So what we are saying here is goal asset create, and again, asset URL, algorand.com, the creator, this is my public address. So when you install a node, you're gonna create an account, you're gonna create an address. And then, as I said, it's like super simple, and there is here, this is basically the documentation how to install on a Mac. It's really simple. Follow the instruction here. You download the file, the script, and yeah, you change permission. You run the script, and that's pretty much it. So we set decimals to 0 because our asset is unique and is not divisible. The name for this asset is ALGO01, and we can add the node, which is like already it's like an additional information we add to our asset as the URL, similar to the URL. Total is 1, and unit name, I call it Vince1 for now. And yeah, the data directory is the data of my node, and the wallet is my wallet name. Once we specify all these parameter, we hit enter. And yeah, that's my wallet password. So what it's doing is it create a transaction with the transaction ID, and it's trying to create the asset, and there you go. So what this means is this is the transaction ID, and this is the block number, and the asset ID is being created with this ID. So to make sure that this is created, we can go to the Algorand Explorer. We search for this ID, and you can see ALGO01. So it's already there.
That was so quick.
So quick, and it's cheap as well. If I bring my phone, I can show you that this asset will appear now in my wallet. So yeah, we call it ALGO01, and that's the one. ALGO01, yeah, it's blurry my screen, so you can't really, there you go.
Yeah, yeah, I can see something. We can put a screenshot.
Yeah.
To the screenshot on the description.
Yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, and ideally, I can send this address to you if you have the app installed in your phone.
I do have the app, but I don't have any algos on that wallet.
I can send you some algo if you want.
All right, let's do it. What do you need? QR code?
Yes, please.
Oh, hold on. Send and receive.
Or you can send me your public address by message as well, whatever is easy.
Can you scan?
Let's see, it would be difficult. Let's see. That worked.
Yes.
So the first thing that you need to do is as I said before, you need to opt in the asset. So I'll send you some algo now, so you will be able to opt in. I'll send you 1 second. I'll send you 2 algo. I just hit send.
Yeah, got it.
Perfect. And what I'll do, what you need to do now is you need to opt in the asset.
Yes.
Right?
So I have to click on the plus button.
Yeah, you need to click on the, if you scroll down, you have add the new asset.
Yeah.
Yep. So add new asset, go to there are 2 tabs, verified and all. Click all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And search for the asset ID.
Which is?
The asset ID is this one on the screen, 22 86 64 007.
007.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. ALGO 1.
Yeah. You can add.
So I'm going to click on it.
Yeah.
And it's asking me to approve.
Yeah.
So I'm going to approve it. And now it says adding asset.
Nice. There you go. So now,
okay, I have now listed ALGO 1, and it says 0.
Yeah, that's correct. So what I'm gonna do, because now you opt in, so it's available in your account. I can send it to you, and so I'll need to create another transaction. Basically, by this time, I'm creating the transaction using the ALGO wallet.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so I'll do send. Amount max, address is the same address you gave me before. And preview, send algo. And soon you will receive.
Hold on, I'll refresh.
Yeah, you can refresh.
Oh, I got it. Look at that.
Nice.
Oh, hold on. There you go.
Yeah, that's the one. And
so quick. I'm still impressed.
Yeah, as you can see from the Explorer, now we are able to see what happened with this address, with this asset, sorry. And yeah, like, if you go in the technical information, we can see the manager address, Fritz address, and the clawback account are set by default using my the asset creator, the address, sorry. And yeah, you can see that it's working, everything. This is your address. So if I go here, I can see now that you own the Vince1. And yeah, you just paid to do all this transaction. We just paid 0.01 to add and 0.01 to receive the address. That's pretty much it.
And that matches what's in my wallet, because now I have 1.9999 instead of 2 that you sent me before.
Yeah. Correct.
Amazing. And if you go back to that the transaction, there was 3 things there. There was freeze account, clawback, and something else. What are the difference between those?
So like the manager address is like if you add another address that can update this value. the reserve address is basically if okay, I'm using like to create this asset, I use my address here, this one.
Mm-hmm.
If I was going to specify the reserve address, this asset that I just created, it was going to be assigned to the reserve address straight away rather than on my account. And yeah, the freeze address and the clawback. I just want to check the documentation. Yeah, the freeze address is the account allowed to freeze, unfreeze and unfreeze the asset holding for a specific account. And the clawback address represents an account that is allowed to transfer asset from and to any asset holder. You can think about as an escrow account. Yeah, they call it clawback address. In traditional finance, this sort of transaction is referred to a clawback.
So when you want to retrieve, if I didn't meet the conditions of our agreement and you wanted to retrieve this ALGO, you could use that function to take it back.
Yeah. Another thing I want to mention is that, as you saw, when we create the asset, the response we got was an asset ID, and we can think about the asset ID as because blockchain is a ledger, so a kind of database where the data is stored. We can think about the asset ID as a primary key, which is like an immutable value on this data set in the database. And you can achieve the same results using the Algorand SDK if you are confident programming. Instead of use the CLI, you could use Go, Java, Python, and JavaScript. And basically, what we did with the wallet on our phone was basically to receive the address. So you opt into the address and you receive it, and the transferring of an asset. You can achieve the same result with the command line as well. Okay. I really suggest you and everyone to have a look at the official documentation to be able to explore more all the asset functions. And you can see here you got some snippet of code if you want to use any of this language. I used Go, and I think that's pretty much it.
That was, I think, simple enough. We are going to add the links that are on Vince's presentation to the description. So it's just, one click for everyone who wants to go and try. And I'll probably link to his LinkedIn profile as well. So if anyone watching have a question, want to get in touch, please do so.
Yeah, if there will be my email or anything. If you guys are stuck on installing the node or just want to check with me something, ping me on my email or LinkedIn and I can help you out.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Vince, for taking the time to record this, because our live stream at the meetup on Tuesday was a little bit flaky.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Thank you.